So good morning from Brussels, and I'd like to thank you for the invitation to present as part of the agua Smart Water Summit. I've been asked to share with you the Commission's work related to digital transformation in the water sector. I'm sure many of you are aware of the European Green Deal. With its green and digital agenda, much has already been delivered, and in the slide there we've highlighted some of the more recent deliveries in the Green Deal. One of the Green Deal ambitions includes the zero pollution ambition, reducing pollution to levels which are no longer expected to be harmful for health and nature ecosystems by the year 2050, respecting planetary boundaries and creating a toxic-free environment. The Zero Pollution Action Plan, which was published last year in 2021, sets out an overarching integrated roadmap for achieving this vision while strengthening the EU's green, industrial, digital and economic leadership. We have been delivering legislative projects for zero pollution, including our proposal to upgrade the Industrial Emissions Directive, and we are working on further proposals, including the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive, the list of priority substances for the Water Framework Directive, and the Ambient Air Quality Directive. The first Zero Pollution Monitoring and Outlook report will be presented at a stakeholder conference in December of this year. And as more specific interest, I think, to today's and this week's audience, it would be work we've already developed in a strategy paper on digital solutions for zero pollution. It follows on from the EU digital strategy, shaping Europe's digital strategy. And I'll go into this in some detail, just highlighting key areas. Through the digital solutions for zero pollution, we've identified 10 key areas, and I think many are applicable in the context of this week's summit, particularly digital water protection, solutions for plastic pollution, transformation of industry, e-health and environmental pollution, digital marine protection, and smart, sustainable and resilient cities and communities. In the document, we've also set out a number of recommendations. There are 10 in all, and I think they're worth going through and just highlighting them to you. So there's a focus on the deployment of digital solutions that need to be sustainable. We should be taking advantage of the digital component of green investments going forward. We also recommend in the strategy that citizens are empowered through the better use of digital tools. There's the opportunity to exploit many possibilities for digital solutions in the compliance area and enforcement of environmental legislation going forward. We'd also recommend digitalization to modernize administration, and that we also see the necessity for the enhancement of digital skills and capacity building. We also recommend zero pollution data is open, and it should be an important contribution to European data spaces. Big data can contribute to solving pollution problems by translating information into knowledge. There is a need to create networks of environmental and digital experts, and this is the opportunity we have now to embrace the twin transition of green and digital. Specifically regarding the water industry, we appreciate that digital technologies do offer the enablement of more connected, intelligent, efficient, and responsive water systems and services. There is a need to improve leakage levels in drinking water distribution systems with significant reductions possible, and also for wastewater networks in terms of infiltration and inflow. Furthermore, infrastructure resilience can be strengthened with the optimization of existing infrastructure, whether it's networks or treatment plants, improving the efficiency in treatment, as well as better energy management. Delivering ambitious emission limit values from wastewater agglomerations and higher requirements for water quality parameters available from drinking water taps can be well supported by drinking water solutions, by digital solutions. Central operations, incident control of drinking water infrastructure can be improved in a large number of areas, as I'm sure many of you are very well aware, including the use of sensors, metering, telemetry, SCADA, geographical information systems, model predictions, leakage management, asset management, modeling, of course, and customer information systems. Also, I think it's worth pointing out that risk management can be well supported by smart tools, whether it is for catchment areas of drinking water systems, across networks and treatment plants, or in the receiving water bodies from discharges from urban agglomerations. And these opportunities are broadening with ongoing developments in EU water legislation, including the Water Framework Directive, the EQSD, the Industrial Emissions Directive, and the Water Reuse Regulations. I'll go into a little more detail today on the Water Services Directive, and that's the unit that I work within, on Bathing Water Directive, the Drinking Water Directive, and the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive. With the Bathing Water Directive, we are currently at the evaluation stage of the directive. For bathing waters, there is the opportunity to further embrace digitalization, to provide timely information to the public, supported by modelling and automated monitoring, and some member states, regions, and municipalities have already embraced this. Regarding the Drinking Water Directive, in 2020, we adopted a recast Drinking Water Directive. And as you may be aware, member states are due to comply with it by the 12th of January next year. There are major enhancements in the recast directive that can be well served by digital tools, as there are requirements for higher standards for water quality, a risk-based assessment across the full supply chain, that is the catchment, abstraction, storage, distribution, treatment, and the consumer's tap. There are requirements for substances and materials in contact with drinking water. There's a requirement for access to water for all, and also transparency for consumers, including water suppliers, efficiencies and effectiveness, and measures on their improvements. Regarding leakage in drinking water systems, member states are required going forward to carry out leakage assessments. Leakage threshold values are to be set, and where leakage is an action plan, member states will need to develop an action plan. And annual information will be required to be provided to the public regarding leakage rates. And just to highlight two particular areas of the new directive, Article 17 includes an obligation to provide adequate and up-to-date information to the public. And Article 18 has updates on various data sets on the measures to improve access to water, incidents, risks to human health, etc. Regarding the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive, in 2019, the Commission published an evaluation of the current 1991 directive and concluded that there are many opportunities to develop further this legislation. And at present, we are planning to adopt a revision of the directive later in this year. At our stakeholder conference last October, we outlined options under consideration in a wide range of areas. But today I'm not giving away any secrets, but I am highlighting those areas we discussed in October that are relevant. And to focus on a few areas, let me highlight of the following. Monitoring and reporting. We have identified the need to ensure key information is available to all. The data is updated more frequently. There are better reporting systems, and that emission limit values from wastewater agglomerations better reflect protection of the environment. Also, I'll highlight the area of transparency in the provision of information. I think operators may need to possibly make information more readily available to customers and the general public. And this transparency can enhance performance and common indicators characterizing that performance. Health, I think with the pandemic, there has been a broader consciousness of the link between the environment and health. And we see there is an opportunity to use wastewater as a warning tool, as it has a predictive capability to support decision-making for public health authorities. It has been used well as a surveillance tool during the COVID-19 pandemic, supporting public health authorities, and it's been used for quite a while in some areas, monitoring other pathogens. AMR, antimicrobial resistance, is also an issue where the management of wastewater has a role to play. And the last area I will highlight is regarding urban runoff and stormwater. Better management of stormwater overflows and urban runoff is something we're focusing on. Complex urban areas, however, need case-specific local solutions to optimize. There are in place in the EU some very good examples with strategic integrated planning. And it is the case that blue, green, grey solutions with digital real-time controls can deliver. Let me, on that theme, just highlight the ICT4 cluster of projects. This is over 60 projects that are funded via a number of channels within the EU budgets. 22 of these projects are continuing. These projects specifically contribute to the digital and green transition, supporting the EU's digital strategy and the Green Deal. The projects overall have great potential to support digitization of the water sector, and they're important to us as well because they provide evidence-based feedback to policy. Projects take the lead in some areas, including standards, interoperability, the uptake of digital solutions for urban areas and services for smart cities. And I've highlighted there 3 of those projects. Bathwater in Barcelona, and it's related to the efficiency of integrated management of the urban wastewater system. Digital Water Cities, which is looking again at the integration of water systems in 5 European cities, bringing together municipalities, utilities, research institute and innovation, and covering existing data gaps in governance, interoperability and cybersecurity as well. And your neighbours in Portugal have run the Synergia project in the Algarve with an intelligent platform for decision support, integrated and optimized management of energy, bathing water quality, and the inundation of coastal cities. They're all really interesting projects to us and to myself as an engineer. And to link that in then with the funding framework that we have in place elsewhere, the EU does substantially support the water sector through many routes, and we also have the necessary political frameworks to do so. Many of you are probably aware of the EU long-term budgets. The current budget's running from 2021 to 2027, and altogether with the Next Generation EU budget is worth over 2 trillion euros. Next Generation EU Recovery, which was developed to boost the member states post-pandemic, during and post-pandemic, has a 20% target for digital transformation. And we have already seen several examples of investments in digital technologies supporting the green transition in national recovery and resilience plans. Just a little bit of detail on Next Generation EU. It's helping repair the immediate economic and social damage caused by the pandemic. And really, it's forward-looking to make the EU fit for a greener, more digital, more resilient future challenges. That budget is 806 billion euros. And the centerpiece of it is the Recovery and Resilience Facility, which is, again, substantial at 723 billion. And the funds are being distributed according to national recovery and resilience plans prepared by the member states themselves. For Spain, the plan consists of 112 investments and 102 reforms, in the form of over 69 billion euros worth of grants, but delivered within a tight time frame to 2026. 40% of the Spanish plan supports climate objectives, and 28% of the plan, the digital transition. Included in this published plan, the area of preservation of coastline and water resources, Spain has identified actions in water purification, sanitation and reuse, river restoration, environmental protection, restoration, and digital transformation of water monitoring services, which is all great to see. And that's where I'll end my presentation for this morning. To summarize for you, the Commission sees that the value of data should be exploited much better in the EU, and this should be a joint endeavour between the public and the private sectors. Investment in the water sector should be forward-looking, modernising and digitising all parts of water management. And there is a necessity for water administrations to modernise and for the water sector to use opportunities from digitisation. Thank you for the opportunity today to present, and I wish you all success during your Smart Water Summit this week. Thank you.